Know her. Please leave me be. So what you had just seen was a clip from the footage of the night that a man tried to break into my van and then proceeded to harass and make absurd threats when I wouldn't let him in. And I began recording the tail end of my encounter on my phone in case I needed it for the authorities. But also, hi, it's Sarah from the future post this night, and I just want to preface by saying that I am physically unharmed, I'm in a safe space now, and I've been pretty hesitant about posting this video at all, but I am trying to share my authentic experience while living on the road, so that's what I'm doing. It has actually been about 2 months since this happened, and I think it put a wrench in my creative process of editing videos because I didn't want to go back and relive the night of the event. But reflection is key, and so that's what I'm doing now. Also, I have still been living in the van, I have been traveling and still enjoying my life. So even though this was an uncomfortable experience, it hasn't stopped me from continuing to live my life and explore. First, I'll put everything into context, explain the timeline that led up to that night, and then show the rest of the footage of me driving away. And again, I really wasn't sure if I should be making this video, but I do think it's important to put light on the shadow sides of living on the road for those that want to do this, so that they know how important it is to be confident in your preparedness. Now this is the kind of footage I like to see. And this essentially was what I was doing right beforehand, from 2 days prior when I retreated into the forest with my best friend. I enjoyed some magical waterfalls, garden grounding, and an overall recharging forest bath, which was really needed. But then we had to say a rather melancholic goodbye as we were parting ways for an uncertain amount of time. So I continued to migrate north away from the hot summer temperatures. Essentially, I was coming off a nature high and recharged for the next leg of my journey. My next destination was Asheville, North Carolina, a city that had a Planet Fitness, which is the gym I work out at, and so I figured I'd orbit around the area for a couple of days to explore, get some computer work done, and get back to my routine. Asheville is a medium-sized city with a pretty artsy vibe. And the first day was great. I walked around town for a bit, enjoying the creative energy it was putting out. It has a good selection of restaurants, fun shops, and interesting people about. So the first night in the city, I decided to spend the night at a Cracker Barrel, and if you're familiar with these restaurants, then you'll know that they're similar to Walmart in that they allow you to spend the night if you're passing through, and sometimes they even have designated parking spots for larger rigs. So I ended up spending the night here. There were some other RVs around, and I had a very peaceful sleep. After that, I decided to stick around the city for one more day and explore a little more. I again walked throughout the downtown area, took in some of the architecture and city vibe. The second day in the city was similar to my first. It was nice, but the night was completely opposite. I decided to park overnight at a different Cracker Barrel across the town, which seemed a little quieter with good Google reviews. The restaurant began closing and the parking lot slowly began emptying until I found myself alone in the middle of making dinner. I was totally in my own world when I heard an alarming knock. Know her, please leave me be.
Fuck your camera, man. You're not
Okay, so I'm safe right now, but I just had my first knock on the door. That was not the cops. Being alone, I was in the middle of cooking dinner, so I had my cooktop out, you know, propane hose attached and everything, and then he's just bangs on my side door right here. I first turn off all the lights, turn all the sounds off so I can hear what's going on in case it is the cops and I need to like talk to them. It wasn't, and then he banged on this door right here, the double doors, and that's when I got really nervous. He was complaining about a girl that worked at the Cracker Barrel and, you know, it broke her heart and thought that she was in my van and was telling me to come out and prove that I wasn't her. And I was just proceeding to tell him, please leave me be. I am not who you think I am. I'm just an innocent traveler just passing through. And he says that he's seen my van there many times, which is definitely false. This is my second night here staying in Asheville, and I'm definitely not sheltered from seeing the effects of what drugs do to people. It's hard talking to people that are inebriated. Really hard to get through to someone that is on drugs and they're just not there. They're just fully engulfed with a dark spirit of some sort that is not allowing them to see clearly. And I feel for them, but, you know, not at the cost of my own safety. So, oh my God. So when he continued to not leave and was trying to go to every door of the van, I quickly unhooked my propane, put you know, some things away, made sure my drawer was closed, and then drove down the street I don't know, a half a mile before I could actually, because I didn't really have time to put my stove away, so I just drove very slowly. And that's one of the things that kind of is a bummer with the van, is that I don't have a stove top that is in the counter. But yeah, so I got around the corner, called the cops, and then from there I drove about 10 miles up the road. I didn't speak to the cops in person. I felt safe enough. I did leave a description. Yeah, I'm a little bit shaken up right now, but also I've been able to calm myself. I am now at a place where there are other RVs. Before, there weren't any RVs at all, no other person in the parking lot. I mean, I have all my weapons on me. I feel like I didn't want to use any of it. I have pepper spray, knife, and then some other things, but I just wanted to get away. And so it was a real fight or flight situation, and I did not want to fight. I wanted to get away. Yeah, I've lost my appetite. I was cooking some pasta, which I probably will just save for later for when I can't fall asleep, because the carbs really make you go into a food coma. I don't know what I should do. I'm gonna get a game plan here, but I've put in some ground between me and that unfortunate event so far. But yeah, maybe just to ease my mind and completely leave the state might help. I'm okay. Oh. Why does the world have to have shitty people in it? So the plan is just to get out of this city. It's unfortunate, but there are so many night walkers. I wanted to like Asheville, and I still do, and I understand the enjoyments of it, but for me, I don't think at this point I am vibing with it, and I think I'm gonna go find some nature. I was able to find a little pin pretty far away from here to where I can drive and, just get the coordinates just in case if I lose service. But there's no point and no reason for me to stay here anymore. I have all the things that I need to do. I really just wanted to stay because it's close to the Planet Fitness, but I can totally do a workout without having a gym. And yeah. So, onwards. So I've driven many miles away and nearly 2,000 feet in elevation upwards from the area where the incident happened, so I don't think I'm going to be crossing paths with that man again. Yeah, I'm totally in the wilderness right now, and I do have some service, so this is good, but it's about 3 hours after the incident, and I'm still kind of thinking about it, and just replaying the scenario out, seeing what I could have done differently, but also appreciating the fact that what I did was perfect because I'm here, I'm safe, physically unharmed, and yeah, I did everything that I could in order to get out of that situation. So, yeah, that's just my reflection for now. I'm sure I'll be thinking about it a little bit more, but I'm going to try not to and try to let it go. I'm going to get back to working a little bit. I'm feeling still kind of awake and my adrenaline's still pumping, so yeah. So I didn't get much sleep that night, and when signs of sunrise came, I was beyond ecstatic. I was so grateful for my decision to drive so far away because I later found myself witnessing a special environment in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And although it was still cloudy, the light of day began to illuminate what was once a dark and scary night. The dawn brought beautiful sounds from the colorful birds that seemed like they belonged in a rainforest. So I sat there for a while, just witnessing, noticing the dancing clouds and the soothing sounds from this incredible forest. So now that enough time has passed and I was able to rewatch the footage from that night, I just wanted to reflect on a thought that might help for someone else's preparedness. The main point that I want to get across is that if you ever find yourself in an uncomfortable position, stay calm, stay centered, and then act from this energy. So, staying calm and staying centered doesn't mean to not do anything. It means to stay clear so that you can be aware of your surroundings. And when you have that sense of clarity, you can act versus react. So, if you need to get aggressive to establish your authority, then you get aggressive. But what I mean by acting versus reacting is that the perpetrator normally wants to control you. It's like a game for them. In order to bring you down to their lower levels of consciousness, then they need to instill fear in you, and they want you to react to their game. So staying clear so that way you can act instead of react is critical. I believe that we are multidimensional beings, so we have this layer of vibrations around us that can be read. And an attacker can sense these lower levels of vibration because that's what they prey upon. You have a strong sense of awareness that you can tap into that brings forth a sense of empowerment. And I believe that this internal empowerment is something that you can emit. So when you can harness this sense of clarity that comes from the calm centeredness, then it is time to act. So stay calm, stay centered, and act from this energy. Your body is a powerful tool, so if an uncomfortable situation arises, that is when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, which is your fight or flight mode. In most scenarios, I believe that flight is the best way because you have a set of wheels, so use that to your advantage to get away, to fly away. But if you do have to physically engage, then you'll be clear enough to know the actions that you have to take. You'll know where your defense weapons are, and you'll know how to use them, etc., etc. So if there was one tip that I could offer for being confident in your preparedness when it comes to your safety, that would be to simply meditate. And I know that seems like an odd tip, but this practice really allows us to calm our nervous systems so that way when you need it, it is clear and it is ready to act. There are some videos out there already that have specific details on what you can do when living in a van for security, such as always having fuel, what specific weapons you need, what kind of alarm systems are out there. And so I won't go too in depth here. Perhaps I'll make a video later down the line of what I use. But at the end of the day, trust your gut because that will tell you what you specifically need. And live from the field of love and not fear. Because if you're always afraid, then you'll never get out of your comfort zone and you won't explore the places that you want to go to. And that's really what this lifestyle is about, is extending our comfort zones way past that which comes with conventional living. And so if you are practicing staying clear, then you can really address any situation that arises. Now, if an event like this occurs and it does disturb your inner peace, try to address it and don't let your emotional body be weakened by a darker force of energy. Know that you are a sacred being and that you deserve all the time that you need in order to process this. Your activated nervous system is a real thing, so you want to give it the space and the time to let it calm down. So use your physical body as a tool to emote and to move those emotions and energies that are not serving out of you. And that is, of course, a number of things as well. Some basic things are walking out in nature, working out, and I believe talk therapy is important. If it's simply just you talking to a camera like I'm doing right now, then do it without shame. And that's another topic. If ever something happens where you're uncomfortable and something out of your control happens, don't let yourself hold shame for that event. So for instance, I was actually somewhat embarrassed that that happened to me, that I almost didn't tell my loved ones what had happened because was holding shame and I felt that they were going to judge me. They were going to say, well, you put yourself in this situation because of your lifestyle, etc., etc. But then I quickly reminded myself that safety and security is not guaranteed, whether you live on an island and in a gated community or in the slums of an inner city. You know, it's all relative. So yeah, that's kind of it, y'all. My one tip after this is stay calm, stay centered, and always act from this energy. So I'm going to get back to my normal schedule of posting videos and then have fun with some more vlogs. I know this isn't the most cheery one of them all, but it is important to bring up. So, thanks for watching.